Hello, I'm Mobina. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Please, if you're new here, hit the subscribe and don't forget to turn on the notifications so you can follow us. Today we're going to talk about the fascinating world of the verbs in English. So we're going to begin with talking about what the verb is, different types of the verbs, and at the same time we are going to teach you some common verbs that we use in English and how to memorize them better. So if you're ready, let's dive in. So whenever it comes to the grammar, people start to panic. Don't worry, we are here to make it easier for you, as easy as possible. So let's begin by what verb is. So verbs are the basic and the heart of our sentence, and without them, we cannot make any sentence, basically. So they express actions, occurrence, or state of being. In other words, they tell you what the subject is doing, experiencing, or being. For instance, he runs every day, or yesterday it rained. Actually, it's raining also right now, but every day is raining, unfortunately. Or let's say, I am a teacher. Now we are going a little bit deeper. Now we want to talk about irregular verbs and regular verbs, which they're the main categories of verbs, which they help you to have better English skills, and they help you in conjunctions, basically. So let's begin with regular verbs. So as the name suggests, they have some regular patterns that you can predict them. So when you want to change the form or the tense of the verb, you know what should you do because of the pattern. So what you do, easily, you just add an ed to the end of the verb. For example, she played basketball. So we have play, played, played. Just simply an ed. The base form is play, the past tense played, and past participle also played. Or talk, talked, talked. Easy, right? Now let's begin with irregular verbs. They're not as easy as the regular ones. So you cannot predict them. They don't have a predictable pattern. Unfortunately, you have to memorize them. But don't worry, it's not something like you go and write them and memorize them every day. No, it's just something that you learn by your heart after listening and reading a lot. So it's not that big a deal, don't worry. I can give you some examples so it can be more clarified. Begin, began, begone. There is no ed, right? So it's an irregular verb. Begin is the base one. Began, the past tense. Begone, the past participle. Sing, sang, song. That's another irregular verb. Now we've explored irregular verbs and regular verbs. It's time for the most common verbs that we use in English. They're the backbone of our everyday communication, that by mastering them, you can have your basic English speaking in everyday life. So, number one, be, the most frequently used verb in the English. So it's basically tells you the state of being. Let's say, I'm happy, right? Am I? Yeah, I am. Next one, have. It indicates possession, or when you want to make a perfect tense. So let's say, I've been in basketball team when I was a child. Or let's say, I have a book. The next one, do. You can use it basically everywhere. So when you have some negative sentences or when you want to make questions, you use do. So for example, do you like ice cream? And then, no, I don't, which I think it's impossible, but that can be an answer. Say. Express something in words. So let's say she said hi. Go. It indicates movement from one place to another. The example, we will go to store tomorrow. Get. It can mean receiving or obtaining or becoming. So for example, I got a present. Make. That it can refer to produce or create something. So for instance, I make dinner. Know. To express knowledge or awareness. I know everything, which I don't know. Think, which we use it to express our thoughts, our beliefs, or opinions. I think that's the best idea. That can be an example. Take, which can mean carrying or consuming something. So for example, I take my pills every day, or she took her phone. As we continue our journey, let's pause a moment here. I'm gonna give you some hints so you can learn these especially common verbs better. Number one, you can use some flashcards. Create your own flashcards. So what you can do is writing these verbs in different tenses on the flashcards, so you can have the base, past, and past participle. Also, I suggest you can also write one example from it, so you can understand how to use it in context. Because that's the main problem of a lot of English learners. They know a lot of vocabulary, a lot of verbs, a lot of words, but they cannot use it because they don't know how to use it in a sentence. So having a sample can be very useful in your learning process. Number 2, have your daily journal. Basically, you can write your daily routine, what you're gonna do, your thoughts, what experiences you had in that day, etc., whatever you want. So please focus on different verbs and try to use them correctly. That can be also very helpful. And the last one, as always, listening to English songs, watching movies and TV shows. But this time, try to focus on the verbs that they are using, especially those daily communication ones. So for instance, you can pause the song or the movie that you're watching and pay attention to it. What type of verb is? Is it regular? Is it irregular? Is it past tense? Is it past participle? Analyze it. Don't be a passive listener. Be active while you're listening to an English music even. Or join me to talk, where you can have fun, socialize, and practice English at the same time. And there we go. We are done with the English verbs, the basic ones, of course. Don't forget to practice them and use them in your daily life so you can learn them better. And don't forget to subscribe us so you don't miss our future videos. Thank you so much for your energy and your time.